think usually you're the louder one.
I don't think so.
No, I don't know. It's hard.
Well, it's not. I'm louder probably, but your tone is you project. Yeah, because you have the lower, like your bass comes through, and I don't have a lot of bass.
Yeah. Do I have bass?
Of course, you're a dude.
I don't know. When I hear it in my head, it always sounds less bassy.
When your balls dropped, you got bass.
Bass.
I can't make that sound.
Once again to Know or Snark, we're two former religious types, and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
My name's Hillary.
And I am Josh, a.k.a. We've done it, people. It's time to pack it in.
Okay.
That's my whole nickname today.
What have we done, though?
We've peaked.
Oh.
As far as...
By peaked, you mean bottomed?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
We've bottomed all the way out.
Okay.
But before we talk about what we are doing today, do we have any hits and misses we need to mention?
Shit. Yes. Hold on.
Okay.
Did I make a note of it?
Did you find it?
It wasn't what I was thinking, so no.
Okay. Well, I want to remind you of one of our hit/misses, okay? Because we're about to do this movie.
Okay.
And you remember, you wanted to be nicer to actors.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. I do remember that, and it is a goal. And the truth is, I don't even feel that's... I think I'm broken. I think this is...
You're just broken generally, or this was the one that broke you?
No, because I went into this I'm not even being affected by this. I don't care at all. So...
Well,
I feel no ill will to these poor souls.
Since we're already talking about it, Hillary, tell us what we're doing today.
We're doing a movie, quotes around it, called Loving the Bad Man. Is that what it's called?
Bad Man?
Okay, Loving, because I keep wanting to say Loving a Bad Man, but whatever.
No, he's the bad man.
The one and only bad man.
And I don't want to give anything away about this thing going in, because I just want our audience to just hear it in real time, because it's insane.
It is.
But I would like to go ahead and give out a heavy, heavy content warning if this is the sort of thing that bugs you.
Okay.
This is one of the grossest movies we've ever done.
It's real gross, yeah.
It's not going to... It is unlikely to be topped by anything. Or bottomed by anything.
I'm not gonna lie. This might be giving away our best and worsts at the end.
Yeah.
But I think I hate Ray Comfort more than this.
Yeah? Okay.
I think I do.
Yeah.
Reading, I hate Ray Comfort's content. Him himself, I feel like is such a... I feel bad for how his level of intelligence.
I get that.
Yeah.
And the content warning, of course, is about primarily, let's say, sex stuff.
Sex stuff, yeah. There's some trigger
right.
warnings to be put out there.
Yes,
not that any of you are ever going to watch this film. Please, God,
Please
don't.
Okay, but let's describe this movie in one sentence.
Okay.
What you got?
I put Papa Don't Preach meets Oz.
Okay.
And then is heavily watered down.
Yeah. Okay. I just wrote, you're not going to believe this shit.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't think one would until they see it and they're like, oh, wow, it's real.
Yeah, this is somebody's point of view.
This is for real. Cool. So let's start with the breakdown.
Okay.
Because I feel like you often say you're not going to have a lot to say, but there's going to be more.
You're right.
It always is.
I'm never in a position where I don't have anything to say.
You're like, man. But there's something's gonna...
I did a lot of muting.
Yeah?
And fast forwarding with this.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
You're trying to get through it.
There's so much that could easily be ignored.
Yeah.
And fast forwarded through or cut. Some would say, edited out.
But then the movie wouldn't be 100 minutes long?
153 minutes.
No.
It was
Hour 53.
153 hours.
I was doing the same thing when I said 100. I was like, oh, hold on, not 100.
I'm like, no, I'm just looking at the numbers in my head on the side. Yeah, whatever. Math. Time. What is it?
But let's begin.
Okay.
So it's Christian rock opens up. It's all whoa.
Oh, it's so painful.
Whoa.
The worst music that we've dealt with so far, I think.
And we're looking at a sky so blue, but it's slightly cloudy.
Fast forward through the opening because it went on and on.
I wrote down it does last entirely too long. Even if it is only like 2 minutes, like, I don't need to see this.
It's it's an opening that's giving you no information.
Yeah.
To terrible music.
Yeah, and then we go from a cloud, sky to grass.
Yes.
Like a close-up of not super healthy grass.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
That's all I was looking at, so I was like, I guess I may as well look at this grass.
Well, I guess it's actually foreshadowing.
But the grass is, it's fine, it's just not great.
Right.
And this leads us to meeting our main girl, Julie, and her family, which is mom, dad, and brother. Very, very 1950s
Well, the reason
stereotype.
we're on the grass is because we pan to her dad, who's trying to put a sprinkler system in.
Mm-hmm. I guess that would explain why the grass is not doing great.
Exactly, the foreshadowing.
But they're, the family's just Bible thumpers, but the brother's a DJ, so I guess he's not super intense into it, and dad is being kind of an asshole about it because he's a dad in a movie, and he's also trash.
Yeah.
Right away.
He's being kind of an asshole in every scene he's in.
Yes. And sometimes he's way more of an asshole.
Exactly.
So he's either baseline level.
Right. Mild asshole.
Or complete wow.
Off his rocker asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
So get used to that. Anybody who has a dad probably knows this.
I like mine.
I'm kidding.
I'm a lucky one.
We learn Julie is off pretty soon to do some religious, mission stuff out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Apparently in the state they're in, just away.
Right.
And so dad is kind of upset with himself because he forgot to tune up her car. And so when she goes off on a big trip, something could go wrong. But Julie's not worried because it's only an hour away. So
she's 23. She can take care of herself.
Her words. But so we're just going to move on because she's also the middle of nowhere is not an hour away. That's not
well, where are they? We don't know.
I know, but if you're an hour away from real civilization, you're not in the middle of nowhere.
True.
You're slightly isolated.
You're at a distance that's going to be a bit of an annoyance to walk from, but not a big deal.
Yeah, you can make it.
Yeah.
So we now cut to meet Mike. This is our second main lead. It's the only other name I'm going to bother learning for this movie.
Okay, good.
He's a mechanic, and he's a general hot-headed tough guy, and he's getting yelled at by his boss for being both a thief and a lazy, drunk loser.
Because he has a boss, and we know his boss is an asshole because he starts screaming in the first frame he's in and doesn't stop screaming until we don't see him anymore.
That's true. But, Mike ends up really mad, but at least for now, he's impotent.
Why'd you say it like that? Why? Why was that your word choice?
At work in the grocery store, Julie catches a tiny boy stealing some Pop-Tarts.
Tiny boy? He's a child. That makes it sound like he's unnaturally small.
All children are unnaturally small.
One of the borrowers is trying to steal some Pop-Tarts.
No. He's stealing Pop-Tarts. You can see it on screen. The little R.
Pop-Tarts. Shut up.
No,
I didn't notice that.
You can totally see it.
Oh, I might actually have to go back and look at that.
Between the P and the O.
Oh my god, somebody clever worked on this?
I think it's
I love wordplay.
Yeah, I don't know if they did it on purpose. I think they just didn't bother, I don't know. I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah.
But they have Pop-Tarts.
Whatever.
People have hair.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. But, so we see the kid stealing some Pop-Tarts, and Julie's manager is grabbing the kid by the scruff.
Yeah.
And he's like, tell me your name. Who are you? What is your name? Tell me your name.
Managers in this town do not know how to communicate.
They're so bad. And so, but Julie comes over and she covers for the kid and says that she offered to buy him these Pop-Tarts in exchange for him coming to her church with him. Mm-hmm. And, of course, this is also a deal being put on the kid. Now he has to come to church.
Right.
Because Julie,
Seems a bit manipulative.
Oh, yeah. But she loves her Jesus, and she loves little baby boys, and she just wants everyone to be saved or whatever.
Yep.
And so now we go back to the mechanic. And Mike is called into the room because there's some people getting their car fixed. And he's like, this is my mechanic. And he's like, can I talk to you, boss, outside?
Well, those are the people, the car he was working on. His boss was mad at him for not fixing their car.
Right.
These are those people.
Right. And so Mike's like, can I talk to you, boss, outside? And they go outside into the back room. And Mike just kicks this man's ass.
I'm fine with it. The guy's an asshole.
It's actually not badly done.
It wasn't.
And so he has finished with the car. Mm. And there's a very mildly humorous scene where the dad and his daughter who are getting their car fixed can hear the beatdown happening.
Yeah.
And the daughter's like, what's going on? He's like, they're just fixing the car. And then Mike comes in with the keys and he's like, your car's fixed. Thanks for coming to whatever mechanic.
Thanks for coming to mechanic.
And like he just walks out and the dad's like, cool, thanks.
Right.
And they're going to walk outside and there's going to be like a body.
Right. There's a very bloody and large man on the ground.
And they're like, okay, that almost works. And if I hadn't already known what this movie was about, I would have been like in a better mood.
Right.
Because it would be stupid, but at least not as bad as what we're getting. So it's like they lure you in with a slightly effective joke, kind of.
Kind of. It's a kind of joke.
Yes. And so we're back to Julie again, and now she's in the break room, and the neighbor ginger boy, who has a very obvious crush on her,
yes, very obvious,
is trying to talk to her, and he's
also not understanding that foil cannot go in a microwave.
Yeah, because he has this like burrito or something.
Yeah, or like it's like the size of is he putting a potato wrapped in tinfoil in the microwave?
People eat potatoes.
This is a stupid boy. She shouldn't date this boy.
It's a very stupid boy, but he's extremely awkward. He's just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" But I have to give him props on one thing. Okay. He actually asked her out.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, I just want to get to know you better. He's like, hey, we should go out sometime.
Yeah. And when she doesn't respond, he doesn't push it.
Yeah. She just says, no, I don't really want to do that. And he goes, okay, well, I'm gonna just leave then.
No, I actually kind of like this scene.
Which is
with the exception of the putting aluminum foil in the goddamn microwave. Right. Don't do that, kids.
Yeah. But he leaves, awkwardly, but at least he said what he wanted, didn't get it, went away.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone should know that's how it should go.
Yeah.
Just fuck off.
Yeah.
All right. But Mike is now at a bar, and he's drinking his troubles away, presumably because he's been fired. We have to assume he's been fired.
Or he quit. That might have been him putting in his 2 weeks.
And, of course, he gets into a yelling match with some other tough-looking fella, and this is just as Julie is driving by in her car. Maybe on that mission stuff? I don't know. Who cares?
I think she's driving home from that mission thing.
Okay. And as alluded to earlier, her dad has neglected to do some maintenance for her car, so her tire explodes, and she's forced to look for assistance inside this grungy little dive bar.
And I thought she was 23 and could take care of herself. Why is her dad doing all of her car care?
I mean, like, tune-ups are a little more complicated, but apparently she can't change a tire either.
No, but she could go to a place and get it done herself.
Yeah, she has a job.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, checking tire pressure is something we should all know how to do.
Yeah, it's not even that hard.
No, changing a tire is not hard. That's another thing everybody should know how to do. It's something every kid should learn how to do before or when they get their license.
Yeah, just changing a tire is honestly...
Check your oil, change a tire, check air pressure, bare minimum.
Yeah. But her tire explodes, so she goes into the bar to get some help, and someone points her to Mike. And, you know, he's sort of Mike, so he's grumpy and he's mean looking, and she's not sure that she wants him to help, but, and he turns her down anyway, so it's like, hey, my car's, and he's like, fuck off, I'm drinking here.
Yeah. Also, this is, like, the bar owner here is incredibly irresponsible.
Oh, 100%. Amazingly.
This is the first part where I'm like, well, aside from being annoyed that she, like, her trying to get help was, she used her cell phone, remember, she tries to call roadside assistance with her phone. And we could hear it say, like, the phone number you reached is not connected or something like that. And she goes, no service. I'm like, that doesn't mean no service. No service.
That's not at all what that means. You called the wrong person.
Right. Or like it didn't connect, but that if you hear anything on the other side, you have service.
Yeah.
That was the first part I was annoyed at. And then this grown man's handling of the situation. Yeah. Go on.
So, let's see. Mike then, I guess, takes a liking to her, but it seems very physical because he, like, looks at her when she's walking away.
Right.
And he's like, okay, I guess I should, go help her.
He checks her out because she is a very conventionally attractive 23-year-old girl.
Yeah, she's blonde.
Very outside of the norm of this bar.
Right.
Fish out of water.
Which I think has, like, prostitutes in it? Is that what those women were supposed to be?
I think they're just,
They're not ladies of the night, they're night ladies?
Yeah. More like me, less like hookers. Night ladies.
Are you a night lady?
I used to be. Now I'm a morning person. I hate it.
But she looks at the bartender for some assistance. She's like, this guy seems super sketchy. And he's like,
it's just Mike.
Yeah, his bark is worse than his bite.
Right.
And so.
To you're 7 feet tall.
So, just go outside with him. It'll be fine.
Right. This has a lot to do with, like, men defending each other.
Yeah.
When women say stuff. Mm-hmm. Because they're like, he'd never do something like that. But, like, not to you.
Right.
Why would he would not do this in front of you.
Why would Michael Jackson molest those boys that no one knows instead of those famous boys?
Right.
Be like, really?
But there's lots lots of reasons.
That's a really stupid question.
But also, it's like, I don't never believe the girl because the guy, like the friends, like are the ones vouching for them, but they would no guy would ever do this type of a thing or be violent towards women in front of their buddies.
Yeah.
And definitely don't go and confess to them about it. But also, this bartender knows him clearly. He's known him for a while, and he's a guy with like a violent past. He's a clear alcoholic, and he's already been, the bartender already asked if he was okay tonight because he's had too much. And then he's like, don't worry, lady. He's trustworthy. He's fine. Go alone across the street with this drunk. He's blackout drunk with a history of violence.
He's completely hammered and a well-known violent person.
Right.
Go hang out with this guy.
No big deal.
But she does it anyway because she was assured by this guy, and she's a little more.
And she's 23 and she's very naive.
And so, as Mike is fixing the tire, he relives all of his day's trauma.
Yeah.
And he eventually fixes the car, and to thank him, Julie tries to give him a little tip. She's like, I know it's not a lot, but I don't have a lot of money.
Right.
So take this money.
Very reasonable.
And he takes this as an insult.
Right.
So he starts freaking out and yelling at her, and then he grabs her, and he is shaking her a little bit.
A very long, slow motion, fight scene. Not fight scene but like him trying to get her.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, and her like fighting him off.
She knocks him over and she runs away.
Yeah.
Now she starts screaming for help.
Right.
She does not apparently get very far.
Also, why not run back into the bar across the street? Why are you running down the road?
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm saying this is not a situation that makes any sense.
Right. Even if she's naive and kind of dumb.
Right. You still run towards other people.
It's the writer of the movie.
Right.
Who decided, oh, well, she wouldn't run across the street to the place with people.
Right.
She would just run away.
Yeah.
Knowing that she's
screaming away from the only people she knows exist in this area.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But Mike eventually chases her down and he decides that it's rape time.
Yeah.
And no, that's not a bloody joke.
No. Also, we don't, that being said, it doesn't show the rape.
Yes.
It cuts out of this scene and we're not really sure what happens. We don't know until a little bit later exactly that.
About 3 minutes.
But it seems pretty obvious. It's so unrealistic. Every part of this is so unrealistic. Not that somebody could get raped, but their interaction, the reason they're hanging out in the first place, like all of it is so off the wall.
Yeah. So the next morning, Julie's family finds her car in the driveway, but she's not in it. So of course they start
in the yard.
Oh yeah, it's kind of halfway in the driveway.
Yeah, it looks really disturbing. Like he comes outside and her car's like halfway in the driveway, halfway in the yard. Yeah.
And so obviously they start panicking, especially once Dad finds a knife inside. And I guess that's Mike's knife he used to fix the...
Yeah, and he just grabs it and carries it around like it's not... this is a weird situation. Don't fucking touch anything. How do people not know?
Don't touch anything?
Don't touch anything when it looks like... You don't have to assume it's a crime scene. Just always assume it's a crime scene, always.
That's how I do when I get home.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not going to touch anything until I am not.
You put your gloves on, you wander the house, you check all the doors.
Make sure there's no bodies in my house.
Exactly.
And then I'm like, okay, I can...
Clear.
I can lay in my bed now.
With one eye open.
But it turns out that Julie is not missing. She's just around the corner behind some bushes being very sad. Or upset or
I don't
whatever
understand.
you'd be after you just went out helping Jesus people and then got raped for no reason.
And this is where I'm extra confused.
Yeah.
I'm trying to piece together the night before. Like, how did this work out? She didn't get drunk.
No.
And she wasn't drugged. So there's no reason for her not to have been able to park in the driveway. Or there's no reason for her to walk into her house.
Yeah.
Why did she got out of the car.
Right.
But just sat down and that's where she stayed overnight.
That's what it seems like.
Yes. Also, how did his knife get in the car? Did the rape happen in the car?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't understand.
Maybe he threw it in when they were like...
Also, when they were looking for her and she wasn't in the car and she wasn't in the house, I'm like, oh, fuck, man, this is a murder movie? I thought they were going to find her in the trunk.
Right, that would be... No, it's just...
Because that happens. Like, people will kill somebody, then bring their car back to their house to not raise suspicion or whatever.
Leave them in the trunk.
And either, like, take the body elsewhere or whatever. I don't, yeah, because then it, like, throws off timelines. Anyway.
Who knows? But for whatever reason, Julie was hanging out in the yard. I'm not gonna... Whatever, she's upset.
Yep.
Do what you want. Do what you need.
She's a one-note character, so there's no real reason to look into her motivations because they don't even bother trying to give her any kind of Depth of character.
Agency.
Especially that, yeah.
But we get a montage of everyone being sad.
Our first awful montage that I muted.
There's so many montages.
I muted and then I realized how long it was, so I started fast forwarding. Mm-hmm. It's so long.
The most relevant part of this montage was the dad blaming himself for not doing the car maintenance, and so Julie obviously had an exploded tire. And then Julie apologizes, although for what, it's completely unclear. She's just like, I'm sorry. It's like, for...
Yeah, she's lying on the couch all bruised up, and they're yelling over her.
And she's like, I'm sorry. And it's like, what for what?
I guess for insisting on leaving before her dad got a chance to look at the car.
I don't know. But
that's the only thing I can think of.
The police do good police stuff over the single most inept musical choice on the planet.
This was physically painful.
Because it is poppy Christian rock with hopeful overtones.
Yeah, while a rape kit is being put together.
Like, we watch her report it, go through it.
Also, isn't a montage is meant to show a long period of time in a shorter period of time?
This is a single day.
This is a montage as long as it would be to show the actual situation. But it's like terrible music intercut with a picture of a syringe, a picture of gloves being put on, a picture of her getting her heart monitor put on. I'm like, okay, we all know what happens in a hospital.
Yeah.
We don't need to see all this.
No, it's 100%. I mean, you could argue that, like, they do make it quicker because you probably have to do
quicker than watching it in real time, but that's also not necessary.
Right.
You can just show her going into the hospital and then her later, and they can just say.
No, I agree. It's just, and the music makes it worse because it's like, it's so good to be American or whatever. And it's like, you're watching a rape get processed. What the hell is wrong with
the way this movie handles this really traumatic, awful event is astounding.
Yes, but the good news is Mike is arrested and he is going to look like it's going to get 10 to 20 years.
Wait, before that, the other part of the montage that bothered me was her having to flip through the book to point out the guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question about who the guy was. First of all, she knew his name because the bartender pointed him out, and I think they introduced each other. Right. Second, all she has to do would be like, the bartender. Just ask the bartender.
Yeah, he knows the guy.
Because he knows the guy, and he was there, and he saw me, and he knows, like, he can place us together. I mean, she doesn't have to, there's no, like, first of all, you can't really trust witnesses, like, facial recognition. Like, that's almost been proven to be.
Well, that doesn't mean they don't use it, though.
They use it. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
That's what they use when they have no other options. But she could be like, I was at this. She points out the bar. Like, we watch her point out the bar. She'd be like, ask the bartender.
She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
ask him about the guy, Mike.
I mean, clearly the writer of this doesn't know how these things always work.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not exactly sure if police use it every time. I just assume, like, he says it's this guy. Here's a book of pictures. Isn't the guy you said it was? Okay, as long as you agree. Like, it's more of a redundant thing for...
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. They made it seem like it was like they had to go through this whole process to hunt this guy down, this mystery guy.
In my mind, I interpret it as just, like, cover all your... Yeah, cover all your... What is it? Cross your T's and dot your I's. Just get everything there.
We'll hope it's that.
So that when he's on trial, you can't be like, well, she misidentified him in a lineup.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. Who cares? But Mike is arrested. He's going to go to prison. He immediately gets into a fight in prison with a skinhead that's relevant. Ugh. This is Skinhead Henchman. And for Julie's part, it is ultimately revealed that she's knocked up. So she's having a rape baby. And her parents, of course, push her to abort it. And, if she wants to, she should. Go for it.
Yeah.
The thing about her is...
I have no issue with the abortion talk here.
I really don't. But she doesn't want to. And again, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's your thing.
I was like, going into the scene, I'm like, if she wants to have abortion and her parents refuse to let her...
Yeah, that's a very different thing.
That would be a very wrong thing, and I would have a lot to say about it.
Yeah. Instead, honestly, we have the opposite.
This is fine, yeah.
Her parents want her to, and she's like, I don't want to. Yeah. And I don't necessarily agree.
No, I would definitely get the abortion if anybody's questioning it.
Yeah, but I don't care. Like, it's your...
I don't want kids, and I definitely don't want a rape kid.
Right. But, like, do what you want. It's fine.
Yeah, no, but her flexing, like, her being able to make her own choice is what all of this is about. The whole point is. Yeah, that's what pro-choice is for. Pro-choice isn't...
well, I guess you gotta get rid of it.
Pro-choice isn't only abortions. Right. I want everybody to be able to make their own choice. Yeah.
And that's why I read it. I was like, she doesn't want to, and that's cool. Do your thing. But of course, the whole family's against her, and Julie freaks the fuck out. I think reasonably.
Reasonably.
She's upset right now.
Also, they don't ever deal with her emotional state.
At all. Remotely.
Yeah.
No one even gives a shit.
Nobody taught, like, she doesn't need to be treated with kid gloves necessarily, but they need to acknowledge that she was in a really traumatic experience. And they expect her, they're just like, why are you reacting like this? Calm down.
You just found out you're pregnant. I mean, what's the big deal?
Just get rid of the baby. No big deal. Back to work.
And so Julie does start yelling because they're outside.
Yeah.
And they're yelling about how, the neighbors might find out that Julie's pregnant with the rape baby and she's going to have it.
I love when she screams that, actually. Yeah. Fuck the neighbors.
And Dad decides that he's going to counter her by going even more over the top and saying that maybe she should just get the hell out of his house.
Yeah, he's a very reasonable man. Good dad.
And so little ginger neighbor boy comes by because he has a crush on Julie and he seems to have been
stalking her.
Nearby the whole time. She hasn't been to work recently.
Yeah, he was checking in on her.
Yeah, and
he's actually a good seeming dude.
Yeah, and he heard all of this, and so everyone invites him over to join them for the sausages they're having.
Yeah.
And he takes the chance because he doesn't know what else to do. He's like, okay.
Yeah, awkward.
And so he asks Julie about her plans to return to work and, what's going on. Not like what's going on, that would be weird, but what's your plans?
Right.
And Julie is trying to make it worse for him by just being really mean to him.
Well, yeah.
And again, she hasn't processed anything.
She's not processed anything. Part of the montage is not a therapist, and it should be.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to be against her here.
I don't know either.
I don't know who the protagonist of this movie is. And I'm not convinced the movie knows.
It's supposed to be her.
Are you sure?
100%. She's the one who, changes everyone's lives with her, perfect kindness.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the only scene where she's, actually raising her voice. And again, she's gone through severe trauma.
She's also right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, so she's a little mean to him, and eventually she runs off into the house. And Ginger Boy says some really nice things about her to her parents before offering to help any way that he can and leaving. And everyone just feels really weird right now.
Yeah.
Including the audience for this movie.
Uncomfortable.
It's awkward. Mm-hmm. But 6 months have passed, and we get another montage with Julie is all baby fat now, and then she goes to the next few months, and there's more Christian rock music, and Mike is in prison, and he's doing prison stuff.
Muted and fast forward.
And Julie has a baby boy named Arthur. Doesn't matter. Just call it baby. But it's named Arthur after her grandpa. Mike is finally beginning to feel the heat in prison because he's sort of isolated from everyone. He's not part of a gang yet. And there's a target on his back because he doesn't back down and just fit in like everyone else.
Prison.
So, we get to meet Nazi Stephen Baldwin.
Nazi Stephen Baldwin. You love his 88 eyebrows?
Complete with his Iron Cross tattoo, lightning bolts on his neck, and his 88 on his fucking eyes.
Yeah. He wants to make sure, from any angle, people know he's a Nazi.
Absolutely. And him and his Nazi prison crew seem interested in Mike, but for what exactly, we don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll find out. And here's one of the biggest problems with this movie, besides Stephen Baldwin acting, presumably. Are the Nazis the good guys?
How?
At the end?
No.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay. But Julie and,
No, there's it's one of those things where it's like in the mob. Nobody thinks that gangsters are good guys. They never are, but they have a code.
Right.
Which makes them feel like good guys. Because they follow their own rules and their own codes.
Yeah, we'll kill you and your whole family, but only if.
Right. Or, we'll do it clean.
Yeah.
Because you're a friend of ours. I'll make this painless for you. Right. Like that kind of a thing.
Right.
It's stuff like that. It's not even a gray area. It's they're still shit.
Yeah.
But they're going by their own code and they feel good about it, so.
Yeah. And I assume we're going to edit all that out so the mob doesn't come after us. I'm kidding.
No, I don't care. Please come after me.
That was her.
Well, yeah, you can tell. Our voices don't sound the same.
I just want to be clear, everyone knows.
Hillary said, come get me.
But Julie and Mom are talking about how, Dad thinks she's ruining her life by having this baby, and Mom commends her for sticking by her moral compass and suggests that Julie may actually be too strong. Which, again, that's fine.
Or a poorly written woman.
Yeah. But Mike makes friends in prisons. These are the black gang, because, there's always the brown guys, black guys, Nazis.
Correct.
That seems to be the three prison gangs that exist.
Always.
In every movie, at least.
Yes.
And so he makes friends with the black guys. And we get
I wish there had, better, gangs of, these guys are just really into board games. You know? And those guys love Sex in the City.
They watch it all the time. That he's a Charlotte. Exactly. That's a Miranda.
Don't fuck with Miranda.
He will kill everyone.
He will kill, yes.
And so we get another montage here. And this movie is literally 23% montage. There are so many montages, especially at the beginning.
I know.
It's just, you want to see some...
in montages that don't understand what a montage is meant to be.
Yeah. But of course, Julia's having a hard time with her ugly baby because she has a baby and she's alone.
It is an ugly baby.
I just think all babies are ugly, but...
They definitely are when they first come out. They're like little sea monkeys, but
she finds
this one doesn't age well either.
But she finds some solace in her religion. And so for whatever reason, this is where it gets weird. Julie decides to go see Mike in prison. Mm-hmm. And she surprises him with his rape baby.
Yeah, and this is what makes me, like, when I say that this is a poorly written character.
Yeah.
No, she does seem to have some agency in that she's making decisions, and, like, she's doing this without telling her parents, and she did make the choice to have the baby. She makes choices.
Right.
But there doesn't seem to be any...
reason?
Or, no thought, like, she doesn't waffle between different emotions. Like, it's not like she's like, I feel that I need to go see him in prison, but, you know, this is a dude who raped me. There's no question. She doesn't question anything. It's just, she's just a character who exists to be the purest form of Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, flawless, effortless. She doesn't she doesn't question anything. She doesn't get angry, really. Like, she doesn't get angry at God. She doesn't even get angry she gets angry at her dad.
Once.
But she doesn't ever get angry towards the rapist.
Yeah, she's just...
She doesn't...
Oh, well, you know,
the first time they're face to
happens.
face since he was raping her, she all smiles. Like, this is your son.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre.
It's fucking bizarre. Anyway, that's where we're at now.
Because Mike has been in prison since day one, basically. And so he didn't even know this baby existed. And he's sort of pushes back. He's like, how am I supposed to know this kid is even mine?
Yeah.
I don't know you. I don't know what your life is.
Right. He basically calls her a slut.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know how many guys you've been with. It's like this like Puritan looking girl.
I mean, she could still, I guess, be slutty, but like...
But logically, why would she choose him to be the one to fake dadhood?
Right. That makes no sense. And he's like, I'm in here for 10 years. I don't even know what you want.
Right.
Get out of here, you nutcase. And so he goes back to his cell, and Julie somehow is surprised by his reaction. She's like, how weird.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Why did he want to see his son? And
Mike is convinced that she's really just a crazy person messing with him.
Right. And he also blames her for him being in there for 10 years. And at no point does she or anybody go, you fucking raped me.
Right. No, his old wizened black friend does.
Correct.
Once.
Once. But nobody, like him blaming her for everything, she doesn't even like furrow a brow to it.
Mm-mm. But this is when Mike talks it over with his wizened old black friend.
Right.
And apparently doesn't even remember that night, because again, he was blackout drunk.
Yeah.
And apparently some people just black out and rape people. I'm not convinced, but...
Me neither.
But let's go with the movie. He doesn't remember it. But he does more or less accept that he did it.
Yeah. He has recollection of them having sex.
Yeah.
But he doesn't accept that it was forced on her.
Yeah. I'm sure she was just... I mean, according to this movie, she was probably all smiles.
Probably. Just like, yeah.
Just like, this is the worst experience of my whole life. Yay!
I'm gonna pray for you.
Let's fucking...
I know.
It grosses me out.
Me too.
The old wizened friend tries to explain to Mike that people do all kinds of crazy stuff to prisoners, with prisoners, so it's not entirely unheard of that a woman would come with her baby and say, like, this is your baby.
Yeah.
And I just have to pray that that's some made-up bullshit for this movie. Because otherwise... life is even weirder than this piece of shit.
Well, I don't think the writer of this movie, and I refuse to do research about it.
Of course.
But I have a feeling
the
writer of this movie doesn't have prison experience.
Yeah. And has never
definitely seen some TV shows.
Yeah. And he's probably never met a woman.
Or a black guy.
Or a black man. Okay. But Nazi Stephen Baldwin is trying to negotiate with Mike's new prison gang. While Julie comes back to see him still with child in hand. And so Mike sees her, like, there, and he doesn't even bother talking to her. He just goes back. He's like, nah, I'm not doing this today. And the negotiation between Nazi Stevie B and all the others goes very, very poorly. And now we get more Mike working on cars, because you can do that in prison, apparently.
I guess you can, violent offenders are given very heavy, sharp
projects
tools.
to do, yeah. And he learns
access to the tools necessary to fix cars, which are also murder weapons.
Right. But he does learn a lesson here about logic and sort of accepts that Julie isn't obviously here just to mess with him or to lure a vulnerable prisoner into caring for her baby.
Right.
Because again, he's here for a minimum of 10 years.
She's clearly here for the money.
Right. That's what the guy says. He's like, you are a prisoner who raped her and has nothing.
Yeah.
Why would she make this up?
I'm glad at least somebody's logical.
Right. And back home, Julie, lies to mom about where she's been spending all her time. She's visiting her friend, Michelle. Mm-hmm. Get it? Because it's Mike, but a girl.
Oh, I did not make that connection, actually.
But mom hopes that the cute little ginger boy is going with her because they like him, because he likes her. And he's also probably not going to rape her, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's such a nice boy. He's not just going to randomly assault you for no reason.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, let's hope. And apparently Julie has asked her multiple times to just give it a rest, okay? Come on, Mom. Why would she be with the cute ginger boy who has a crush on her and has not raped her over the guy who fucking did?
Yep.
Like, you expect me to spend my free time with this boy who's not done anything to me?
He's so cheesy, Mom, is what she needs to say, because that's true.
He is cheesy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she has to just... But
so is she. They're perfect for each other.
Yeah, I'm not saying she has to get with the kid.
No.
I'm saying she's acting like it's an absurd idea.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I'm going to spend all my time with this guy. He only raped me the first time we met.
Yeah.
Not this other boy who we have, sort of been...
No, she'd rather be with someone who needs her and needs her help. She can fix this one.
Man. This is one of those situations where you have to laugh at it.
Also, I swear to God, while watching, if she ends up falling in love with the prison guy...
I have to kick everyone in the face.
I have to kick Josh in the face.
I didn't...
For making me watch this movie.
I knew the subject matter of this movie. I did not know the actual details.
Oh, Jeepers Creepers.
So it's entirely possible it could happen.
Do you think that was the way it was going to?
Absolutely.
Because it definitely makes it seem like that. She is way too enthusiastic about visiting this guy.
Yeah. Spoilers for the end. Fortunately, they do
does not end up, engaged.
11 years later.
Screaming at her dad that she loves him.
11 years later, he gets out, and they're like, yay, we have a family.
I fixed him. He's a Jesus freak now.
God. I'm imagining it.
No,
I was with you. I thought that was where it was going.
This movie's terrible, but it could have gone so much worse.
Okay.
My horrible, horrible brain made it so much worse.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But Nazi Stephen Baldwin does some more Nazi shit, and it looks like some of his crew is beginning to turn on him because he's being smart rather than violent. The Nazi henchman was like, you're getting weak, Cyrus, or whatever stupid name is.
I know. The over-the-top guy.
McQuaid. They call him McQuaid.
He's so fucking over the top.
The Irish Nazi, by the way. McQuaid. It's like, let's say Scottish. He's one of those two.
Yeah.
But okay, that's fine. Right. Be a Nazi if you want, McQuaid. I believe you. I'm not saying there are no Irish or Scottish Nazis. I'm saying they're probably less common.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to speak to it.
Considering how white supremacists and Nazis like to, separate people amongst ethnic lines, I'm guessing there's a lot of Ericksons.
Right.
Joneses rather than
Smiths.
McQuaids. And
I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, what's whiter than an Irishman?
Maybe that's how it works. Okay, but Julie visits Mike again because she is nothing if not persistent, and this movie is nothing if not disgusting. Mm-hmm. And she claims that it's good to see him. She's like, oh, it's so good to see you. I brought you cookies. And of course, he can't have them because he's a prisoner, and no one has explained to Julie that you can't just bring prisoners
The most naive woman.
But no one's explained it.
Who would have explained it to her?
The guards do. It's posted frequently. I have been to a prison visit one time.
Yeah.
They tell you in person.
Yeah.
They have signs everywhere, and they check you for anything. If you have cookies, they're going to keep them.
More proof that the writer has never been to a prison.
Yeah, and I was not in a Supermax or whatever. I was not in a prison for rapists. It was jail, actually. So it was people who just, got arrested for something.
You might have put a spoon in that cookie.
Yeah, but they're very, very obvious that no, you can't bring them things. You can't hand them things.
Right.
And if you have something that you're going to have, they check it.
Right. It has to be put through a process.
Right. Okay, but whatever. She apparently didn't know she can't just bring him cookies and somehow got him through. Where'd she smuggle them? Okay, whatever. Where am I? I'm lost now.
Are you saying they're vagina cookies?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I don't know how she got him in there. But she's also brought him a Bible. which he claims to not be able to have without getting stabbed, of course.
You can't just be carrying around a Bible in prison.
Yeah, you know how prisoners are always getting stabbed for having Bibles.
Don't think that's a thing either.
That's not a thing at all.
No, I feel like a lot of them are very religious. Very religious.
And find
or falsely so.
Yeah, but they have Bibles, and it's very normal.
Yeah.
But he finally asks why she keeps coming, and because this movie didn't bother giving her any real agency, she doesn't really know. I don't know. I just thought I would do it.
Seemed like the right thing to do.
She also brings a DNA test to prove that the baby is his, despite him, as far as we know, never asking.
Also, how'd she get his blood? Or
yeah, that's not how DNA tests work. You can't just. I mean,
you need a sample from both.
I guess she could do
She can't secretly do a paternal test.
Yeah.
Especially not when she has no access. Like, it's like, maybe she like tricked him into drinking out of a Coke can and then took the Coke can in or
but
something like that.
That's not how it works because he's in prison.
Exactly.
One could maybe say she has a rape kit. That could be it.
That's true. But also that just proves whoever raped her.
Yeah, that's not going to have. She's not going to, and they're not going to just be like, "Oh, you want to? Okay, here's your rape kit." Like that's fucking. I'm sure they incinerate
also, it's
it.
kind of like whatever came out of the rape kit, definitely.
Right.
But he still might think that he didn't rape her.
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't.
But she has that test, and she proves that it's his, and she also says, "Not that I need one, because you're the only guy I've ever been with." And it's like, I don't like that phrasing.
Nope.
You guys were not together for any period of time.
Right.
All right, but
no, I'm with you. Like, ugh.
I was like, you were never
this writer made.
Never with this man. You were
the only man I've ever been with.
It's like, ugh.
Ooh.
But the next scene is Julie at the grocery store just shopping, and she runs into nice ginger boy, and she's into him now, I guess, because she's realized that he's also in love with Jesus.
Yeah, I think she didn't realize he was a Christian, and now she's like wants his bones.
Yeah, it's his.
But also, I think because he's the only one who's like aside from her family on and off, he's the only one who seems to be showing signs of wanting to help her. Yeah. And we finally see her in a kind of a desperate point where she's like, I don't have anywhere to live. You know, my baby keeps crying. We're like, finally, you're talking about the baby being an issue because that newborns, you can't, she didn't look even kind of tired. She should have looked way more tired.
And this follows the scene where her and Mike have begun bonding, right? Like they're actually getting along. Like he's like, why'd you name the baby Arthur? It's my dad. It's my grandpa's name. Like they're actually getting along and smiling and happy.
Right.
And first off, that's pure
disgusting.
white hot trash.
Yeah.
Right. It's disgusting and completely distressing.
Yeah.
And now she's at the store talking to this other guy. So are we supposed to be rooting for the literal rapist or the awkward kid? Because
she definitely has more chemistry with the rapist.
Because we both had the same idea that this movie was going to end with her with one of these people.
Right.
And so I'm like, who am I rooting? What the fuck is this movie trying to tell me?
Weirdest love triangle I have ever witnessed in film.
I've seen some weird shit.
Yeah.
And this is easily the weirdest.
Yes.
All right, but Mike is, in the next scene, beginning to embrace being a dad.
Yep. Coming around, turning over a new leaf.
But he gets some sage advice from his wizened friend. And back at home, Dad continues to be a useless dick, and it only gets worse when everyone finds out that Julie is trying to have a right and proper relationship with Mike. Mm-hmm. Her words, I think. That's why I wrote it down.
I don't remember her words, but that sounds like it could have come out of her mouth.
Yeah, and even then, everyone's like, what the fuck?
You've been visiting him?
And she can't exactly explain why she's doing it, but Dad is pissed because he's taken out a second mortgage and done everything he can for her and that little bastard. And you're just gonna go out there and like hang out with that fucking guy?
Her dad is a piece of work.
Yes. But she's a nutcase who justifies her nuttery because Jesus talks to her. And while he's right that Julie's clearly insane in this movie, he's also the worst.
He's the worst.
Like he
is the definition of conditional love.
Yeah, he has a fair point in that, Julie, what the fuck?
Right. We gotta talk about this.
But he's like, I want to take my somewhat valid point and make it obscene.
But also for such a, true, pure, perfect Christian, she's been lying a lot.
Yeah, she's such a liar. She lost this whole movie.
Yeah.
Except for about whose baby this is, I guess. And to prove that he's the worst, to make it even worse, he kicks Julie out of the house.
Again.
Yeah.
Did he do it before?
He said...
Or he threatened to before.
Right. He said maybe you should get out.
Right.
And now he's like, I need you and that little bastard out of my house in 5 minutes.
Yep.
Starting now.
Right.
So she's on her own now. And still is going to try to make peace with Mike. I guess at this point, like, what else does she have at a certain level? But another scene of their great bond getting even greater But while this is happening, his wizened old black friend gets attacked in the bathroom and he's murdered.
He is murdered by the white supremacists.
Yes. And Julie explains to Mike that she was kicked out of the house over him. And because we're supposed to think that Mike is an okay guy, he tells her maybe she should stop coming around here if it's just going to make things hard for you. And she finally begins to figure out why she's even bothering to do this. She wants to love people not because it makes her feel good, but because she wants to love people because they need love. And of course, Mike is one of these people. He just needs some love.
Who needs more love than rapists?
He's a good guy despite being a bad man, though.
He just needs more hugs.
So he asked her to do one more thing for him. Just one thing. It's like, you don't get to ask her things, but okay. He wants her to fix things for her family.
Or with her family.
Yeah, what'd I say, for?
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's just like, so sweet, he's so good, he's so pure, he's such a nice fella.
It's working.
Oh my god, I feel sympathy for him.
I'm bringing him someone to Christ.
I want to hit him. I know that not everybody is irredeemable.
Well, no,
very
it's not.
Few people are
no
irredeemable.
humans are black and white.
Right.
Good people do bad things. People fuck up.
Right.
Bad people can do good things.
But
no one's bad or good is what I'm getting at. Actually, everybody has a little bit of both, and some people have more of one than the other.
Right. But when you introduce a character to me in a movie, with him first beating the shit out of somebody, and then raping somebody, we are not going to be on this man's side. Right. I don't care what happens next.
Or if that's the goal, is to get us on his side, it needs to take a lot longer than this. Like there needs to be an actual actions involved and an arc and
American History X.
Oh my god, what a great movie.
A great example. Yeah. He's a shit person. Right. And we know this. He's not a rapist, but he's a murderer. He might be a rapist, we don't know. Yeah. But he murders these guys, and then he actually has a real transformation. You can see it. Right. Mike does not. No. In fact, we know this because there's a scene coming up. He's not any different. No. He's just not a complete reprobate. Which no one is anyway. Right. So I don't know why they're expecting us to feel anything for him besides disdain. No. But let's move on to the next scenes because this is when it's going to prove my point, and that's what I want to do.
Let's prove your point.
So Mike finds out that his friend is dead, and so now he wants revenge. Mm-hmm. And the brown guys who are sort of okay with him tell him that there's really nothing to be done. It's not their business. He's going to get killed if he tries. He's dead now. Move on. And Julie...
And also, why is this prison set up like a school that they can wander around? They're like in a classroom having a conversation that, there are no guards. There are guards on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they're allowed to just, wander into this classroom and have, a serious discussion.
I mean, depending on the prison, some prisons have more, communal...
But this is a violent criminal prison.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, whatever.
Who knows?
I know as little about this as the writer, so... Right. What am I saying?
You're just thinking logistically, this doesn't work. Right. He was just like, it works for my movie. But Julie cry-prays as someone comes over to watch her ugly baby, while Mike broods over his own inability to do anything useful. And he now sees a letter that Julie wrote that's in his Bible that he did take from her. So he starts there. And it's like, time for the conversion. Yeah. So it takes him just a few verses before he seems pretty much fully convinced.
Super into it.
And yet, despite being swayed by the Bible and sort of looking up in hope and, prayer, he goes into the yard of the prison and he starts a huge rumble. Mm-hmm. A fucking fight that's bigger than, it's a fight.
Josh, it's what God told him to do.
Just go punch everyone in the face.
It was just listening to...
And we finally get to see Nazi Stephen Baldwin get some action.
A long action. I fast forward through this too.
And of course, this gets most of the people involved put in solitary. So when Julie comes to see Mike this time, he can't have visitors because he's locked up. Yeah. She pouts and runs off to the store where... Oh, sorry. Before we move on. Yeah. I just want to point out that we're supposed to believe, he's changing for the better. He's so nice. Then he goes and starts a huge fucking fight. He tries to murder some guys, and it's like...
Yeah, well...
I'm not saying he doesn't have a motivation.
Right.
I'm saying
Well, he hadn't gotten to the chapter about turning the other cheek. He doesn't know about forgiveness yet. He just read a couple. They're just like, God loves you.
No, he's like, okay, cool. Does that mean I can go kill this guy?
I'm going to do what I think is right. Revenge.
Julie goes to the store and she's talking to nice ginger boy. And where am I? She's talking to nice ginger boy and he's eager to help her because obviously she's crying. And she asks, if he likes her. And he says, of course I do. You're so, great and cute and fun and whatever. And so she just unloads all of her life problems onto him real quick. Just a real quick. Yeah. I got kicked in my house. I have this rape baby. Everything sucks. And so he takes her into the back room and he tells her to stop trying to make everyone love you. God's love is enough. but he can't prove it to you until she stops fighting. And I don't like that phrasing, especially in this movie.
Especially in this movie.
This is one of those movies where you have to be very careful about what other colloquialisms people are going to use. Because stop fighting does not work. You know, you gotta figure out what you're trying to say and say it real careful. But, you know, he confesses to liking her a whole lot, but he doesn't want to start anything on a weird note. It has to be good and healthy, or it has to be not at all.
This is how we know he's the good guy.
He is a good guy.
He is a good guy, but also, like, just saccharine good.
Yeah, too good.
Yeah.
This is why she's not going to visit him.
He's had a crush on this girl forever, and she's like, maybe we could try something. He's like, no, it's not perfect circumstances.
I mean, not necessarily perfect. I don't know if he needs that. He's just like, this is not...
Oh, no, he's like, honestly, I just don't believe somebody in their early 20s would have this kind of maturity.
That's fair. That's true, but, you know, maybe he's a little advanced because he's very lonely.
He's an old soul.
He's an old soul. But, I mean, I get it. I don't know if I was in the situation ever, but I could...
I understand it. It is the right and mature thing to do.
Right.
It's just hard for me to believe that someone of that... Yeah.
And it's not like he's just gonna, like, he's turning down sex or anything.
Right.
He's just turning down a date that he could get later, you know? And, you know, so, it's not even as immediate.
Right.
As what most 20-something guys are gonna be like, yes!
Good point.
Yeah. But, you know, he more or less rejects her, but only for now, really. And before he leaves the room, he comes back to ask Julie if she loves Mike. And she says, you know, it's not about that. It's about forgiveness. Because that's what God wants, no matter how hard it is for her to do. And because she's been forgiven by Jesus, she therefore needs to forgive him. And that, right there, is why this entire religion is super duper gross. It's fucking nasty. That's not...
It also harkens back to our conversation about what forgiveness is.
Yeah.
I'm just like, was she just trying to feel better about the situation? Because I'm fine with that. Like, if she's just trying to...
Like, process in her own way?
Process in her own way and relieve her... you know, trauma. It doesn't seem like it's that. It seems like it's more about her existence is to help this guy.
It's like, no, in fact, I would argue that's what Jesus is for. Like, you don't have to forgive him at all. Just let him do it.
Right.
Like, you can be pissed forever.
Right. It's like, that's where I'm like, is forgiveness something you give to somebody or something you accept in your own heart? You know, it's like, I don't understand. Yeah, it seems like... Yeah.
Here's the part that really bothered me about it. It's not so much about whether she forgives him or not. I honestly don't care so much about that. It's the idea that she has to because she's been forgiven because she's so shitty.
Oh, that. Okay.
Because
no, you're right.
This version of this religion, at least, teaches you that you are shitty.
Yeah.
You are garbage from birth.
Right.
Or at least from like 8 years old. And you are completely irredeemable except for this magic guy who can do it for you.
One route.
Right.
Right.
And because of that, she then feels obligated to, you know, pay it forward. But if she wasn't taught that she was trash from the start,
right,
she can make her own decisions on who she forgives and how she treats people.
True, but then from the other point of view, it's like I can see if also part of this religion is to try to live your life Christ-like.
Yeah.
And you believe Christ is someone who forgives no matter what.
Yeah.
Then that would make sense.
Right.
But it's still gross.
Yeah, but that's gross, I think, in a tamer way.
Yeah.
The way I interpret it, at least, is the whole... Because she's not shitty.
No.
She's fine. She's just a woman who's normal and...
She is a paper doll of a woman.
Yeah, but, like, she doesn't have any particularly negative qualities or anything. So, in my mind, the only way I can interpret it is that she was taught and told that she sucks. And therefore she has to be forgiven if she's going to be anything worth a damn.
Right.
And it's the same thing as, there's this show, and people call in and they talk about, you know, religious things. And somebody was saying, you know, my grandma took us to church and I don't think she was indoctrinating us. And someone pointed out, like, well, why'd she take you to church? And she was like, because if we didn't go, we'd burn in hell. So she was like, so your grandma thinks you deserve to burn in hell.
Yeah.
As an 8-year-old. Like, you are a child and you deserve hell. She's like, well, no, my grandma never really believed it. And she's like, then why is she taking you to church?
Yeah.
Like, you have to accept that you deserve the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
To go with this version of this film.
This version.
Obviously,
very
some
important.
people are, you know, there's different styles.
So many facets.
But they don't make movies about those styles.
Not that we've found yet.
Not that we've seen yet. So it's a point I'm harping on because it's important. And it's sort of the hook for this entire stupid movie. Is if Julie was not told, or at least internalized, that she sucks, that she's the worst.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else, but still the worst.
Right.
this probably wouldn't be happening. And she'd just be able to move on with her life in a different way.
Right. And it's like, I have no issue with her character processing.
Yeah.
In whatever way works best for her. Everybody's got their ways. I can see how having like a spiritual belief would help if that's what you believe. And, you know, if there's lots of different ways that people can deal with trauma.
Right.
This movie does not present a healthy one, though.
Exactly.
At all.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things, and it really bugs me. But let's move on to the movie, because we're almost done.
Oh, good.
So we're going back to prison, and Skinhead, who is sort of the bad guy of the movie, the henchman, is putting a hit or something out.
The skinniest of the skinheads.
Yeah, and he's putting like a hit out. He looks like NoHo Hank.
Who?
NoHo Hank.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, from Barry.
Oh my god, yes! the alopecia fella.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love him. That's season 2's coming out soon.
I know, I'm very excited.
I'm very excited as well.
But he's putting out a hit on Julie or something, and her kid. Yeah. And just to fuck with Mike. He just hates Mike for some reason. It's not entirely clear.
Honestly, I thought I might have missed something in my fast forwarding through the montages. I'm like, is there a reason these guys hate Mike so much?
No, not really.
Is it because maybe he didn't join their gang, and maybe because he was friends with the black guys?
Well, the first guy he fought when he got to prison was this henchman guy.
Oh, maybe so it's just a personal thing?
But, like, even then, he's been in fights with plenty, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing that he's just like, I gotta kill this guy and his whole fucking... It doesn't make sense. Because, like, doing a hit from prison is not an easy process. So he's gotta be...
We would hope and assume.
Yeah, so we have to assume, like, he's really upset.
Yeah.
Alright, but he's putting a hit out on that. And Mike gets out of solitary, and he comes out with a newfound appreciation for the Bible. Apparently he read it a lot when he was in there.
Are they allowed to have books in there? I don't know, man.
I don't know. But he finds out that...
Because honestly, I would love to be in solitary if I had a pile of books. That's all I've ever wanted.
And he finds out about the hit that was put on Julie and the baby, while Ginger Boy goes to see Julie's dad and tells him that he needs to reconcile with Julie because she needs her dad. And it's like, does she need this dad, though? And so they have that conversation... And then, for some reason, he takes Julie's car. He's just like, hey, I need to take your car. And she's like, all right, whatever. And we see the part where he shows her what he's been up to. And so he drives her back to her parents' house. And Julie's like, I don't want to fucking, what are you doing? I don't want to be here. And he's like, no, just trust me. It's going to be fine. And, of course, Dad has been working on her car, and he's fixed it because it broke down a while ago. And so Ginger Kid has come in and just swooped in and fixed everything. Yay!
Yay!
Because Dad apologizes and tells Julie that no matter what, he's going to be there for her, and so will the whole family. So everything's resolved. Huzzah!
With words. We'll see about the actions.
Yeah, she's going to be kicked out of her house in about 2 years.
Seems pretty hot-headed.
And so Mike and Julie are back to visiting each other. Or I guess she's visiting him, whatever. And she brings her dad to this one. Because she insists on making this entire situation as bad as possible. Mm-hmm. And Dad, obviously, is pissed off. And he says that he's only here for Julie, and if it was up to me, I would, what do you say, like, I'd choke the life out of you or something like that.
Either way, Dad's getting some aggression out, which is actually probably pretty good.
Probably healthy
for him to, like, actually confront this person for the first time, and how he's been in there for at least, 5 years, because we keep seeing her kid grow up. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 to 5 years.
Right. Now, Mike apologizes to him, even though I'm not entirely sure he's actually apologized to Julie. At least on screen.
We have not witnessed that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
He barely even acknowledges it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her dad shows up and he's like, I'm sorry to you, sir.
I'm sorry for ruining your property.
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry I soiled your property. I'll buy you a new one.
I have raped your daughter, and clearly this is a personal offense.
Right.
But he's so contrite, he must be such a decent fella, and he's just wrapped up in this bad situation that wasn't his fault. Mm-mm. But Mike is feeling a sense of finality. And so after this scene where he talks to Julie's dad, he goes inside where he's working on a car, and he tells one of his prison buddies to go tell the guards that someone's been killed, and you don't know who did it.
Right. And this is another failure of writing. We are going to the scene with no information, but they're acting like we have some information.
Yeah, we have nothing.
Apparently, there was some sort of deal reached where he was going to give his life for Julie's.
Yeah. Because the hit will not be carried out on her and the baby.
Right.
If Mike dies.
If Mike dies. But that's never said. It's just it's implied after this point.
Yeah, they talk about it in this moment.
Just like we don't really understand why they're after him in the first place. We don't really understand what they think Julie is to him because, whatever. I know.
But just as he says, someone's been killed, go tell him that someone's been killed, the Nazis come into the room. And And Mike points out, no one really dies. And they're like, oh yeah, you're a Jesus freak now. The henchman is like, you're a freaking Jesus freak. You're a weirdo, blah, blah, blah. And he confirms with Nazi Baldwin that they do have a deal. If he goes quietly and it all ends here once and for all. Because Nazi Baldwin is true to his word.
Mm-hmm.
As a final favor to Mike, Stevie B goes ahead and kills his henchman, who was the one who put the hit out on Julie and the baby. And so he's like, hey, I got you a present. He stabs his other henchman stabs him.
Right.
And now, of course, Mike has to die as well. And somewhat hilariously for me, as he's leaving the room, because he's never present for a murder because he's the boss.
Right.
He says, make it quick when he's going to kill Mike.
Right.
And so the guy stabs Mike twice. And leaves him. He's alive.
Yeah.
He's not remotely quick. This is one of the slowest ways to kill this man with a knife.
I mean, he might have hit him in good spots where he'll bleed out quickly.
But it's still like, you could cut his throat, you could stab him in the heart specifically, you could do all sorts of stuff. He just sort of like, and just leaves him there. And you can see Mike's eyes are open, and he's thinking and breathing, and so he's just like...
But he also kind of has a smile on his face.
Yeah, like,
Well, he's accepted it.
Yeah, he's going to...
But it does seem like it might be a painless way to go. Meaning, like, the stab probably hurt, but it's not, like, honestly... Having your throat cut, like throat slit, you'll bleed out faster, but you're also like you can't breathe. And so it's like that, like being held underwater feeling.
Yeah. I don't know the best way to kill somebody with
think about
a stabbing, but I would imagine that when you are told make it quick, this was not quick.
They should just do the 2 slices up the arms.
Yeah, it doesn't look quick at least, because we can literally see him down. Alive. Right. And it's like a minute. So it's like, that's not remotely fast. There are arteries you can cut that'll kill you in seconds.
Exactly.
But, he dies, so it doesn't really matter.
The guy's not a surgeon, Josh.
Yeah. And we finally see Julie reading his final letter that he wrote to her about how he's going to die, but she's ultimately going to be saved in this big scheme of his. Because he had to choose between his life and hers. And he just hopes that when their son grows up, she teaches him the truth, just like she taught Mike. Oh, it's so cute. The movie's over. What a tremendous piece of shit.
What a fucking garbage dump.
This was the movie I'd been teasing you with a couple of times.
I know it is.
Every time you're like, I don't think it can get worse. This is the one I always had in mind. I know.
Well, and you have great reason to believe that. I feel like Ray Comfort does more damage.
Probably.
But this is the most disgusting.
Yeah. Actively disgusting. Ray Comfort is more annoying and smug.
Yeah.
He's a ridiculous person. But this is...
He's more frustrating to me.
Yeah.
This is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's just fully... But at least I think most people, hopefully...
You made the face that I was thinking, which is, oh, no, we can't even say that most people... Constantly surprised by how terrible humans are.
Yeah, that's true. We can at least hope that most people realize that this is fucking awful.
Yeah.
But we still have to do a best and worst.
Okay.
What's the best and what's the worst?
Let's see. I think the best is her brother.
Yeah.
And here's why. There never comes a point where it becomes clear why his character exists.
Right.
Ever.
He's just there to be.
He's just this lighthearted fella who loves DJing. Mm-hmm. And he's in a bunch of scenes, but offers nothing to the plot, nothing to character development.
He's like... He
exists only to be another child for her dad to dislike. Yeah. He hates his kids.
He's slightly comic relief.
Slightly.
But even then, he's not really... joking. He's just kind of a goof.
No, yeah, there was no reason for him to exist, and I found that funny.
Yeah, like someone at one point is like, "Who sleeps more, the baby or the brother?"
Right,
and he's like, "It's me. It's definitely me."
Yeah, he's the joke of the movie, which is he's this lazy kid who just loves to DJ and is selfish. I guess,
and it looks like he's actually successful at it, so he's not a bad DJ.
No, he seems like he's doing great. Yeah.
So, like, that's good.
Healthy, yeah.
Like, he's a DJ.
Why is he there, though?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No one knows. Worst, I don't think I need to say it.
The entire underlying message of this movie?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's given.
This is a damaging movie.
Oh, yeah, this is bad for society.
This is bad for society, bad for women.
Yeah.
Bad for men.
Bad for the people who made it, bad for the people who wrote it, bad for... Yeah. Anybody who's been exposed to this movie is worse off for it.
Correct. Hopefully no kids are seeing this movie. And yeah, especially little girls.
Girls, right?
Do not show this movie to little girls and tell them that there's anything to glean from this. Yeah. Unless you're showing it, like, do not fucking ever listen to anybody who talks like this. It's like, maybe they can, I don't know.
One thing I'll say for best.
Okay.
The most refreshing thing I found in this movie.
Yeah.
Is it actually accepts reality in a way that a lot of the Christian movies we watch don't.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, the party is always one beer being passed around amongst 6 people.
Right.
Or
this actually does involve an extreme thing that happens. It happens daily.
But it's not just it's not just the big plot points, but it's also the small stuff. People insult each other. They tell each other, call each other names.
Yeah.
Someone gets called an asshole. Someone gets called a bastard. Someone's like...
They really had fun dropping the fucking...
Yeah, but this is real things, because usually...
The racial slurs?
There's a couple of racial slurs. Cracker gets dropped a couple times.
Cracker. That was the nicest one.
Yeah.
But it's also they didn't need to have that in there.
No.
It's just they're bad. They use this word.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
But but a lot of these movies will be like the most intense moment in a person's life. It's like, you dingus. Yeah. It's like, really? That's the angriest you can be?
Somebody drinks 2 beers and makes one mistake.
Yeah, and they're like, your life is ruined.
Right.
You called that man a jerk.
Well, you're right that it actually does show stuff that actually happens, but the way people deal with it is not human.
No, not remotely. I just wanted to at least give it some...
Yeah.
I said best, not actual good.
Best of this. Yeah, you're right. Okay. No, I get you.
All right, so let's talk about some things.
What's your worst?
Oh, the same as you.
Okay.
Wait,
I just wanted to make sure.
Are we gonna disagree? This movie, it taught me a lot about...
I could easily say that the worst is Mike's facial hair.
Runner up.
Yeah, the wispy lip thing, so that he's a sleaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, but let's do some things like this. Is there anything like this? Because I'm gonna be honest, I wrote nothing.
I'm gonna say
just don't watch this.
None of things like this, but watch this, not that. I can happily do.
Okay. Literally anything. Want to
watch a prison
world?
movie?
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption.
Perfect.
Yeah. Even Oz, actually. If I can watch Oz.
I haven't seen Oz. I've seen one episode.
I've seen some of it. It's just really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing like this, obviously.
Right. Oh, you want to see a movie about a woman processing a rape?
That's what I was trying to think of.
Revenge.
Oh, I never saw that.
The French movie from 2 years ago. She just murders everyone.
Is the TV show based on that?
No, the TV show is Count of Monte Cristo. There's no rape in that show.
What are you talking about?
The TV show Revenge. It's just a retelling of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love that book.
Yeah. Her dad was framed for something he didn't do, and she comes back as someone who's not her.
Oh, okay.
And takes revenge on everyone.
Right on.
But yeah, there's no rape in that show, which is good.
Revenge the movie, then I'll watch that.
Yeah, but it's French, and there's a rape in it, and she just kills everyone. And it's
sounds fucking rad.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to kill her back, so... it's it's not like they don't deserve it or she
right.
Whatever.
But still.
Good. But yeah, those are the...
People processing emotions is what's happening.
Yeah. And sometimes that involves murder.
Actually, you know what? The girl with the spider tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon. The girl with the dragon tattoo. And then the girl in the spider web. Whatever. That series, actually.
There you go. They're very intense.
Very intense. Ugh. Yes, but also more realistic than this.
Yes. So remember, if you like the show, please give us some 5-star reviews on whatever podcast app or service you are using, and tell all your friends and enemies and acquaintances about us any way that you can, because we need the attention, we need your love.
Yeah.
And if you don't love us, give us a 5-star review anyway. And links to everything are in the description of this episode, including a website at which you can send us an email with your rants, complaints, questions, comments, memes, anything. So we can do our mailbag.
Yeah.
As always, thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Final message.
Bye.
Bye.